Hi guys, time for another pick a card reading. The topic of this one is going to be, what does the person on your mind think is the sexiest thing about you? What are they most attracted to? There are three groups to choose from. Group one is the flower agate star. Group two is the sodalite star. And group three is the Aventurine star. Up next is a close-up photo of these crystals. There are timestamps in the description box of the video, and I'll see everyone in a minute for group one. Hi group one. You chose the flower agate star. So let's see, what does the person on your mind think is the sexiest thing about you? What are your most attractive qualities in their eyes? Okay, we've got Kuan Yin, compassion, mountain, presence, and tree of life, connection. So it feels like this person is really attracted to the fact that you are very noticeable when you walk in a room, but it's not something that you flaunt. You're humble about that. Maybe you don't even like see this about yourself. Your beauty, your aura, literally your presence, and how that draws others' attention to you. And it's the way in which you don't flaunt that or kind of like use that as a way to sort of manipulate people or to get what you want. Like you don't consciously use that. There may be people that like go out of their way to be nice to you, to do favors for you, or to be like extra accommodating because of this. But this person has recognized that either you don't see that about yourself as like a tool that you could use to further yourself in a big picture sense in terms of like little immediate comforts, or it's something, if you do see this about yourself, you're not the kind of person that kind of uses that to sort of manipulate other people. That is something that it feels like is really sexy. It's really attractive to them, because there's a sense of feeling that you are the type of person that can be like, you can hold your own and like you can be appreciated without letting that like get to your head or make you, sort of think that you're better than other people in some sort of way. Also, with this energy of like tree of life connection, this person thinks that the way that you relate to them, you speak life into them in some sort of way, you kind of bring them back to this reminder of like what's important, that energy of presence, almost like a softness about you where you're not really pushy, you're not bossy, and yet you're able to kind of bend others to see things from your perspective. You're able to like soften hearts and minds. Maybe even this person has kind of moved beyond sort of a rigid stance, or you've helped to kind of calm this person at times where they've been very agitated or very angry. They find that to be a very attractive quality about you. This is somebody that feels like that is very unyielding to the control of other people, but they soften in your presence. This is somebody that you bring out like the softer side within them, but you bring out the softer side within other people. This is something where this person thinks it's very attractive, the way in which it's not like people that just sort of, give you attention or maybe like do things for you to try to like win you over in some sort of way, but it's like almost just people are compelled to like give of themselves. People are compelled, to like give you compliments or help you in certain sorts of ways that maybe is sort of a generous side of individuals or of this person that doesn't usually like come to the surface. And so this is somebody who's seen like the effect that you have on others, the effect that you have on yourself, and the way that you carry that. It's a level of personal magnetism that doesn't scream loudly. It's just kind of like a silent presence, and it's powerful enough inside of you that it almost kind of like is the voice of reason for other people or like for this person themselves. Like, again, that energy of sort of like angry or agitated, but you're very like calming and just sort of deep sense of presence has kind of like brought this person back to center. It's diffused anger or agitation within them without even you're meaning that to, without even trying to kind of like, talk them down from something or like encourage them to calm down. It's just kind of like being next to you brings them to this place, to this experience inside of themselves of almost like mindfulness. And so they find that to be very attractive. As it feels like this person, at least as far as your connection at this point in time is concerned, yeah, they like the surface level qualities about you, like the physical things about you that are attractive, but this is something where they're looking for someone who can like bring out the best in them. Somebody that isn't gonna like push their buttons and cause this person to like act irrationally or, would kind of like create jealousy within them. Not the type of person that would kind of bring out the worst in this person, but they're at a point in this connection or just in their life of like, I need someone that brings out the best in me, brings me back to center when I've kind of lost my way. And so there is a sexiness, there's an attractiveness to that. The fact that you have that effect upon them, but they see that it's something that it's just kind of, you have that effect upon other people. Like you bring out the best within other people. So this person is like very attracted, it feels like, to the fact that this is genuine. This is like genuinely just part of who you are. It's not something that you're using as like a ploy or a tactic, to try to control them in a certain sort of way. This is just something that is like a natural byproduct of who you are and the effect that you have on others. So let's get a little bit more and see what else they think are like the sexiest things about you, the most attractive things about you. Okay, we've got a burst of magic, roots of abundance, and let it go. So there's a sense that you lead from the heart. You speak life into people, into this person, into situations that, again, is like very deeply attractive. It's almost somebody that feels like you would have the power to, at least in their position, like they give you their heart, you'd have the power to crush it. And yet you treat it with care and kindness, with generosity. You're a very grounded presence as well. Like you bring this person to a place of groundedness within themselves, but there's also like a strength inside of you that helps for you to kind of like wield this sort of like soft and yet powerful presence. It's almost like the presence within sort of a quiet or gentle energy that helps this person to really see that you are somebody who is kind of like a safe person or a safe space in a long-term sense, not just somebody who sort of meets like immediate needs and requirements or desires, but you're the kind of person that it's almost like they're very attracted to the fact that no matter what life would throw at them, or what would happen like in a long-term sense, a person like you could be that voice of reason. A person like you would be that individual that would like stand strong beside them through thick and thin. And so it feels like that is something that is very attractive to them. There's also a sense here with this burst of magic that this person thinks that the way that you like present yourself physically, the way that you dress, the way you do your hair, if you wear makeup, jewelry, how you accessorize things, all of that is something that really helps to kind of like emphasize sort of your natural beauty or your best qualities, but you also make it look effortless. Like you don't look like you spend 3 hours getting ready, and yet you look incredibly put together, incredibly like glamorous, or things that just kind of like complement your natural features. You're not over the top. And it feels like this person though has seen you both in just kind of like a casual setting and also when you've like dressed up, and that transition from just kind of like everyday you to special occasion you, that is something that helps this person, to be very like attracted to the idea like of special occasions that you would be part of, or, kind of like fancy dates that you could go on. And just the idea of sort of like, if the emphasis was to like play up those natural qualities within, to sort of, dress those up a bit or accentuate those, You do that perfectly. You're somebody who dresses for your physique. You're somebody that you can make even just like ordinary outfits look very exclusive. You're the type of person, you know what works for like your body type, for your shape, for your like natural features and qualities. And this person really like is attracted to that. It feels like the natural essence of who you are. Even times where they've seen you like with no makeup on, just totally casual, that's something that is also very sexy to this person. It's very attractive to this person, because again, there's a sense of this like presence inside of you, that whether you've put in a whole lot of effort to create a certain appearance or you're just like being yourself on an ordinary day, all of that sort of shines through. It shines through naturally, and there are times where that is like highly accentuated, and all of that is something that it feels like brings this person to a place of wanting to show appreciation, wanting to create closeness. And also it feels like this person finds that they're very attracted to the fact that like others notice that. This is somebody that might have in other connections in the past gotten like jealous of attention that was given towards significant others. That might have been like a hot point for this person. But with you, it's almost like there's this trust that you wouldn't overstep any boundaries. But the fact that other people kind of like notice you, compliment you, are very like drawn to that presence within you. This is something that this person is like attracted to, because in a certain sort of way, it kind of like feeds into their ego. Like they're very proud to be seen with you, or the idea of somebody being like, well, who's that? And they would say, oh, they're with me. That's my person. Like that idea is very attractive to them. But there's also something that runs a little bit deeper than that, deeper than those kind of just like ego, stimulations. And it sort of ties into this element of something more on an emotional or a soul level, where there's almost just kind of, again, this like presence inside of you that sort of brings out the best in others, where this person is very attracted to kind of the byproduct of that is like being associated with you, being with you, being out on a date with you, hanging out with you. It's kind of like people look at them a little bit differently, like, oh, this person's giving you the time of day, okay, well, there must be something really special about you if this person, like if you the viewer have chosen this individual, the person on your mind to be the one you're talking to, the one that you're dating, the one that you're hanging out with, the one that you're spending time with. So you definitely satisfy something in terms of this person's like their better nature, their higher nature, but then it's also you're hitting all those right buttons as far as, they're very kind of like natural sort of ego instinct to want to be in a partnership, with somebody that it's like other people admire that, but you do that in such a way, or the way that you carry yourself, it's almost like they can have that sense of pride that you're with them, but it's not something that you carry in such a way. And maybe it's because you don't sort of like use that quality within to like manipulate others, or you might not even like see that about yourself. You might not even know quite what your presence does to other people, that this person feels like safe with that even if they weren't with you, there's like trust, like they trust that you wouldn't sort of have somebody on the side. They trust that wouldn't be anything where you would like disrespect them if they weren't around. They trust that it's kind of like you're the same person whether they're with you or whether you were alone somewhere. And so that is something that feels like that is very attractive to them. So let's get a few messages from this person's higher self and see what they want you to know. Okay, we've got you are the one for me. Yeah, so this person is definitely determined to make this relationship work. They're determined to, continue to date, continue to deepen the connection. They love the idea of long-term connection with you, maybe even like marrying you and growing old with you, spending their life with you, building a life with you. We also have, I miss all of you and all of your quirks. So this is kind of, because this is sort of a reading about what do they find most sexy or attractive, so like current situation. So rather than like missing that, this is almost an energy of like they love everything. They love your quirks, they love your put together qualities. There's, again, that sort of like casual energy, and when you're dressing up, when you're putting effort in, whether that relates to like physical things, how you're presenting, or even just circumstances where you're just sort of being yourself, and times where you're trying to make a really good impression on others. This person likes that full range within you. We also have you are my Two of Cups. So that's that soulmate energy. This again is somebody that is like, you have accessed their heart, not just in terms of like they find you attractive and want to sleep with you, or purely just kind of feeding into those ego needs, but they see that you're the type of person that again can kind of bring them back to themselves when they've lost their way. You're the type of person that brings out the best in them. You bring out the best in other people, you bring out the best in them. And so this is somebody, it feels like, that wants to like deepen your connection, continue your connection. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got A, M, S, B, D, L, V, Y, I, H, and X. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again at another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the Sodalite star. So let's see, what does the person on your mind find to be the sexiest things about you? What are they most attracted to? Okay, we got crone, wisdom, snake, life force, and wolf, mastery. So if you're older, this person loves that. It feels like this is not somebody that is looking for, kind of like starting out in life, hasn't had long-term relationship. This is not somebody that is looking to date a person in like, their 20s or even in their 30s. It feels like this is somebody that they may be older and they're looking for somebody that is older as well. They're looking for somebody that is that equivalent, has been through kind of like the ups and downs of life, has come out maybe a little bit worse for wear, and yet nevertheless is still charging forward. That is something that this person feels is very attractive about you. But this is also somebody that sees, if you are, an older person, again, this is giving kind of like a demographic of people that at the minimum would be like in late 30s, but this can be like 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s for some of my viewers, that you have aged like fine wine. You are really hot. You are very sexy, like physically. There's a grace about you, like time has kind of softened you. If this is somebody that has known you long term, or like knew you at different seasons of your life, then that is even a more attractive quality about you. That this is somebody that may have like encountered you over, maybe they met you in the younger period of time and now you're older, like now you're both older. You're like even more beautiful, you're even more handsome than you were before. And so this is something that is like pushing all the right buttons within this person, because again, they're looking, even if there's like an age difference between the two of you, like if you're in your 40s and this is somebody that's older, they like the fact that, again, you're not somebody that is, totally young and fully detached from like being able to relate to them, not just on like a sexual level, but being able to relate to them like almost in terms of life experience, perspective, the things that matter, the things that, you are looking forward to, or or what you would equate as like future plans, like the type of things that factor into that, that in some sort of way there's like a comparable range for the two of you, that is something that is very attractive to them. This energy here with snake and life force speaks to something about like a sassiness about you, like a spiciness about you, that you're not somebody that is kind of like, as you've gotten older, you've gotten quieter. It's like as you've gotten older, you've stepped into your own. You don't give a shit whose feathers you ruffle. Like, you're going to speak your mind. You're going to march to the beat of your own drum. You know yourself, and the world can adjust. And that is something that this person finds is like very sexy. They love the idea of having somebody like you who, isn't like this docile, demure, meek kind of person. They love the fact that you have all of this life force energy. They love the fact that you even rub certain people the wrong way. You might be the type of person where some people are like, you think you're too loud, you're too much, you're extra. Not for this person. They think that that's everything that they are looking for. This energy of wolf and mastery speaks to something where like you've unleashed your wild side. Your wildness is something that they really love, because it feels like it's very different from other people that they have like dated or had romantic partnerships before. You're very free spirited, and no matter how you embody that or kind of like bring that out into the life that you're living, this person sees it, and it's something that attracts them on all levels. They find that to be incredibly sexy. This is somebody that is like, yeah, I want to run wild with you. I want a relationship with you that is unique to us. It doesn't have to be tame. It doesn't have to be something that kind of like fits into the standards of what other people are doing. The lifestyle that you're living, how you're embodying yourself, how you're speaking your truth, how you present and represent that out. It's everything that this person, like at this point in their life, is like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. In the past, this person may have been sort of dissatisfied because they were looking to sort of put themselves in the container of like relationships that fit in, and it kind of looks like everybody else, kind of chasing the same dreams, and just sort of following in the footsteps and maybe how they were raised or how their siblings or the friends or just people around them, like what that meant to kind of build a life with someone, a well-lived life, a successful life. And it feels like that was something that like didn't work out for this person, or it was never anything that was very satisfying. And so with you, it's kind of like there's this indication of like, yeah, you could have like an ordinary life with one another, where you'd live together, you'd get married, or you'd be in long-term partnership. Like those things are all possible. But what it would mean to be in your presence, what it would mean to experience quiet moments and very exciting moments, the things that you focus on, the things that you got going on in your reality, all of that is something that this person is like, they're so excited about. And like, yes, this is what I've wanted. This is what I'm looking for. This is what is really like turning them on, not just in terms of like they find it to be really sexy, but they're very attracted to it. It's something that responds to or resonates with kind of like a wildness within that they have had to kind of like contain for various sort of reasons. And they may be at a point in their life where they're kind of just like, they're breaking out of the mold, they're breaking out of the box. And you are somebody that maybe has, encourage this, like you encourage this person to kind of just like follow their heart, or make whatever changes necessary, or it's the type of thing that just the essence of like how you live and who you are, it aligns with that sort of concept as this person sort of steps beyond the ordinary. What that means, it's kind of like, yeah, aligning with you is something that would make sense. And so there's a deep attraction to that as well. This person, it feels like there's also something about like your aura, your energy. There's a sensuality about you that you don't hide. It feels like it's something that you're very aware of. And this may even have to do with like eye contact. This person feels like you seduce them with your eyes. And that is something that it's like they've never experienced before. They love it. They can't get enough of that. This person, it feels like, thinks about what it would be like to just look into your eyes, to like make love and look into your eyes, or even just kind of like sit there and have like long conversations and just see this kind of portal to a different sort of reality, the doorway to forever that exists within your eyes. This is something that it feels like really resonates with like a deep animalistic part of them, that other people that they've dated, other people they've been in romantic relationships with, although there may have been like lust, love, attraction, it was nothing like this. This is something that is almost like on a primal level. And it's not just something that this person sees as kind of like evident within sort of the dynamic between the two of you, although it feels like it's very obvious, this like palpable chemistry between the two of you that is very recognized and maybe has been spoken on by both of you, has been acknowledged. But this is something that it's kind of like how you look at the world, how you move through the world. There's an untamed nature that there's a wildness to that that just kind of like drives this person crazy. Again, this is somebody that like they want to unshackle themselves from whatever it is kind of keeps them in this place of having to sort of like live behind a facade, wear a mask in some sort of way, contain parts of themselves. And even if it's not like, oh, they're changing so much about the presentation of their life, there's a sense of wanting to kind of like develop more with you, so that that aspect, that wildness, that freedom is something that takes on more depth, more layers, more meaning. It's a world between the two of you, that this is somebody that wants to like feed into that. So let's see what else they find to be the sexiest things about you, the most attractive qualities about you. Okay, we've got the land between, seeing beyond, and it is what it is. So your stubbornness is really sexy to this person. You don't tolerate bullshit. You got a no-nonsense attitude. You are yourself, and you don't care what people think about that. That is something that it feels like really turns this person on. They may be used to people that are like conformists, that are very self-conscious, very obsessed with like image and sort of like, how does this look? And although this is something where this person sees like you have manners, you have grace, but at the same point in time, you are somebody that's like, you're not just putting on a show, you're not kind of like creating this image so that other people will kind of judge you as worthy. It's like you're yourself, and you don't care who likes that or who doesn't. If you have to be yourself and sit alone, you'll be yourself and sit alone. If you're yourself and other people support that and come towards that, then you welcome them with open arms. This is something that it feels like is it's a very attractive quality for this person, because there's a sense of like they can really be themselves, or even begin that journey of exploring with this land between, kind of like who they've been conditioned to be, who they have kind of like been because of the people that they've been surrounded with and influences in their life up to this point in time, that it's almost like they're attracted to the unknown with you. This space where it's kind of like, well, who would I become in your presence, with more of like a defined connection? Who would I become in your presence if we were in a relationship, 10 years from now? How would I evolve as a person? Because this person like sees as well. They're very attracted also to this kind of mysterious side of you, the seeing beyond. That wildness doesn't just bring forth like free spiritedness. It also brings forth the energy that you're tapped into something that is beyond kind of perspectives of ordinary people. So maybe this is your spiritual side, things that you talk about. They find that to be very sexy, very intriguing, very attractive. But there's also the sense of recognizing, again, like if this is somebody that has known you through different seasons of your life, and they've seen not just how you've like aged very beautifully, you've aged with grace, you've developed as a person, that there's almost the sense of like, you're the type of individual that you have no prime. You keep evolving. And so they're very attracted to the idea of what life could be like in a partnership with someone like that. Because they're used to experiences where people just get together and time passes and like the bodies get older, but nothing changes. And with you, there's almost the sense of there would be the adventure of redefining ourselves again and again and again. And that is something that it feels like this person finds very attractive, not just in terms of the potential between the two of you, but it's something that almost intrigues them about a deeper potential within themselves, that there's never been the right influence or right environment, romantically speaking, for them to really evolve as a lover, evolve as a person. And yet with you, they really sense that that's possible, and that you'd keep them on track, that they wouldn't get kind of like lost in the ethers. Because again, with that like stubbornness, that no nonsense attitude, there's almost the sense of like anything that would be beyond the boundaries, beyond the threshold, it's like you would create a perimeter for that, where there's like room for this person to explore and to develop themselves, but you'd keep them on track in some sort of way. It would be an experience you would undertake together. And that also attracts them because there's a sense of you're the type of person that they could evolve alongside, rather than, and maybe they've had a connection in the past where somebody's like, I think we grew apart. You're not the same person I remember, or I'm not the same person that first got together with you. I don't love you anymore. I don't feel the same way. This person is, and that might be something that was kind of like the worst thing that ever happened. This is something where who you are as a person, the dynamic between the two of you, yeah, there's no guarantees that you wouldn't grow apart, grow into different people, fall out of love one day. But this is somebody that feels like you're the type of person that would sort of keep me on track for this, like, yeah, we're evolving. We're not just settling into a rut. We're going to be curious. We're going to let our wild side out. We're going to live life to the fullest in an expansive sort of way. We're going to keep pace with one another. We're going to grow alongside one another. And it wouldn't just be like all of a sudden one day there's, sit down, I need to have a conversation with you. And you're like letting this person know, like, yeah, I don't feel the same way anymore. I don't know who you are. I become someone else. I don't love you anymore. Like there's a reassurance that just how you live your life, that such a thing, such an approach, such a mindset of just kind of keeping truth bottled up and only focusing on kind of creating or maintaining an image, that's not how you roll. That's not what you're about. And so that kind of like worst thing that's ever happened to them in the past, they're very attracted to the fact that there's a certainty without knowing why, that is not the type of scenario that they would relive again, like with you. So let's get some messages from their higher self and see what they want you to know right now. Okay, we got, I want to spend my life with you. Yeah, so this is somebody that is very excited to kind of like close out a cycle that they are in their life. And for a lot of you, this cycle is just kind of like you're at the early stages of the connection, and this is somebody that is like raring to go as far as that, like, yeah, let's get into this, let's develop this connection, let's continue to kind of peel back these layers with one another. Let's explore this deeper. Like they're very excited about what the future holds. We also have, I hope you still love me. So this is somebody that feels like that there are parts of themselves that have never been fully expressed in romantic connections. And so they feel a little bit like exposed or vulnerable in your presence. The idea of like rewilding themselves, unleashing some part of them that is kind of just like hidden, part of their shadow self. And it's like you feel like the safe space, somebody that would be very understanding, somebody that would be very welcoming, somebody that would be very like open to that, or open to the process of this person sort of like, okay, who do I want to be now moving forward? Shedding identities and kind of like stepping into a new version of themselves. They see you as kind of this like-minded individual where you're always kind of, or on a regular or reoccurring basis, you're not waiting for tower moments to happen. You're like learning to disconnect or detach from situations that when they're not a right fit for you, you hold yourself accountable, or you're so like free-spirited that this is somebody that sees you almost like you live life without borders. You don't contain yourself in any sort of way. And so there's the sense of almost like this person going through like big personal changes, rites of passage, or even kind of like big milestone events in their life where it might be like, okay, that time in my life is done. That experience in my life, like big experiences are done. What now? How do those things shape me into, or now that that's closed, what do I want to do now? You're the type of person that they feel would be that sort of right companion, or even the right guide to kind of like walk with them and sort of show the way through that experience, hold space for them while they discover their own way through those experiences. We also have, I am creatively influenced by you. Yeah, so it feels like this person is starting already to express themselves more authentically than they have before. This might even just be something where they're kind of like trying to talk themselves into, not sort of fearing that you're too good to be true, not holding back. They're trying to be very like authentic, very open, even about like hesitations with you. There's a sense that you would like understand that you've, met at this time in your life, or if it's somebody, that you met a while ago and you've kind of like been in one another's lives in different sorts of ways over the period of time. This is somebody that is kind of like the moment feels right, or it's reaching a place of being right where it's time for us to explore romance. And so this is some, or like more romance, like a deeper connection than has been the case so far. And they are thinking of like different sorts of ways to kind of prepare themselves for that, close out cycles in their life materially, anything that sort of like stands in the way of what they imagine building a life with you would be like. But it feels like this is also somebody that is kind of readying themselves to move into a connection where it's like a free spiritedness within them that has been suppressed, or kind of muted up to this point in time, where there's a space, at least between the two of you, where they can let that be known. They can let that kind of be free, because it matches in some sort of way, or is inspired by something that they see within you that is not just kind of like, oh, I see this fire in your eyes and it really ignites something within me. This is like the full essence of how you live your life, how you present yourself, how you kind of communicate who you are out into the world. They find that to be very sexy and attractive, and in their own way, this is somebody that is like in the process of spreading their wings to kind of like fly alongside you. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got D, F, T, Y, F, O, V, M, K, T, and Z. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. It shows the Aventurine star. So let's see, what does the person on your mind think are the sexiest things about you, the most attractive qualities? Okay, you've got Raven, Magic, Moon, Rhythm, and Muse, Inspiration. So this person is very like drawn to your dark side, a sensual side. Something about you that they find incredibly sexy is the fact that they've only gotten like a peek at who you are, not just like who you are as a person, but something as far as your energy is concerned, where you've got very strong like personal boundaries. And this is kind of the experience of sort of like people have to earn access to that like internal reality. They have to earn access to layers of you that are beyond casual connections or surface level people. Like you're not guarded in terms of like from a place of woundedness, but you got boundaries because you know your worth. You know you are the prize. You know that people who are lucky enough to have love with you, maybe you didn't always know this, but you know it now, or you've created this version of yourself. You know that this is something that enhances the life of that romantic partner, that there's benefit to that on an energetic level and in terms of like the way in which you are able to kind of tap into that sacred sexuality, that sensuality within, that kundalini energy, and to have experiences with romance, and particularly with like long-term partners, that there's a sense of kind of like tapping into something more raw and more real that is possible with even great sex with like a one night stand, or somebody that like one is hooking up with, or that's like a temporary sort of situation. That there's a part of you that speaks to those who are willing to put in the effort, who can cultivate patience within themselves to earn that permission to enter in closely to this dynamic within you, this deep sensuality, this mystery within, that those are the people who go through some kind of initiation. It's a rite of passage. You've come into a point in your life, it feels like, where you have activated and embodied like the divine principle within. This is speaking like divine feminine energy. And so this is somebody that it feels like they're very attracted to that. They find that to be very sexy, because romantic partners in the past, or maybe just kind of like other options that they've had, or, people around them, people that like other people are in relationships with, that they know, they might be finding decent people, attractive, have these like really good qualities, but it's almost like they've never encountered somebody that is like divine feminine, that even operates not just on that high level of frequency, but has learned to embrace the depths, the shadow. Because a lot of people think divine feminine, they think love and light. True divine feminine energy, it's chaotic, it's primordial, it's that imaginal space, it's carnal, it's animalistic. And there's something within you that speaks through you without needing to be flaunted. It feels like you're, again, like there's a guardedness with that. You've got these strong personal boundaries. It may even be something in your eyes, this glint in your eyes, an intensity in your eyes, something in the way in which you let little hints of the mystery within that you've mapped out, that you're very familiar with based on your journey. You put these little clues out for potential suitors to take those, and what are they going to do with that? Try to look at this as a circumstance of conquest, try to be acquisitive, or is this the type of person that's going to put in that effort to break down the barriers inside of themselves that inhibit them from giving and receiving on a deeper level? Not just in terms of like action steps and effort and planning dates and, saying nice, wonderful things, but it's kind of like, can you be vulnerable in my presence? Can you unearth the part of yourself that exists beyond shame? Can you unlearn old habits and patterns in the interest of claiming the prize of what it is to walk alongside someone like you? And this is something that this person's never encountered anything like that before. So it's something that isn't even like they find it sexy because, oh, I've been waiting my whole life to meet someone like you. You're this dream person come to life. But this is something that they're deeply attracted to because it's like they've never contemplated something like this. They never thought somebody like you would even exist. There's no part of them that was like, you're checking off every single box in terms of this like raw kind of like shadow side, like dark feminine energy, where this person almost feels like your energy could swallow them whole, but then they would be born anew through that. They'd come out like a different person. And it's not the kind of thing that's just like, oh, sleeping with you, that would do it. No, this is the kind of thing where it's like they have to peel back the layers within themselves in order to kind of request that your energy swallow them whole, that it moves away the parts of themselves that have obscured their own perception of the divine masculine essence within them. So this is somebody that is like, they find you to be very sexy for reasons that are very hard for them to even explain, justify, rationalize to themselves, because they've never encountered someone like you. You may be somebody that is devoted to like a spiritual practice, a particular like path as far as like self-love, wellness. Maybe you've worked to kind of like not just heal aspects within yourself, but to really kind of awaken that primal power within. And that can be accomplished in a variety of ways. But it feels like it's the kind of thing that you didn't just, you went to therapy for a little while and that solved this or that, and so you're embodying this. It's something that is part of like your lifestyle, habits, routines, mindsets, the things that you focus on, what you cultivate, what you put out in the world, your relationship with yourself. All of that is something that it feels like calls to this person. This energy with muse and inspiration, it's kind of like it inspires this person to step beyond the limits of what they thought they were attracted to, parts of themselves that could even perceive attraction. You're sexy in a way that kind of defies their knowing of what that is exactly. And yet it's something that it has already pulled them into this place where they are so attracted to you that this is almost somebody that feels like, yeah, everybody has free will, but there's a part of them that is kind of like, if they know if they were to run from you or push you away, they would be haunted by you. That you are the type, they're attracted to the fact that if they don't play their cards right, you will become the one that got away. You have already made some kind of effect upon this person to where it's like any romance beyond you, and there's a hope that like things will work out long term so they don't even have to consider what that might look like. But anybody else, they'd be comparing them to you. Not even like surface level qualities, but this kind of, this essence inside of you. This energy that just sort of like shines through just your eyes, or these subtleties within you that doesn't need to be announced in a loud sort of way. And it gives permission for one to enter and to learn of that mystery through a willingness to kind of evolve beyond themselves on a certain level. So let's see what else this person finds to be very sexy or attractive about you. Okay, we've got earth magic, close encounters, and birds of a feather. So this person thinks the way that your mind works, the things that you focus on, the things that you talk about, that you kind of like give your attention to, that is something that's very attractive to them. You might be the type of person where you're not just like sitting around gossiping about people, like you're not just sitting around talking shit about people. You may be like, you address truths about people, but you're not like spreading rumors. You're not like, the only thing you have to speak on is like the lives of others. There's meaning behind the things that you say. There's almost a sense of like, even just sort of casual conversations bring in a different sort of perspective. This person finds it to be very stimulating to talk to you. They could be a sapiosexual. They find your intelligence sexy. They find the way in which you articulate, in which you speak, the things that you talk about, even times where you're talking shit. How you do that, how you say that, how you put that out there, there's an intelligence there. Your wittiness, you're clever, you're insightful. That's something that it feels like is very, very sexy to them. There's also something in the way that your body language, the way that you like position yourself, that you hold yourself physically when you're around them, or when they've seen you like out in public. It feels like this person has seen you in like close personal settings, and also when you're in more crowded settings, and it's like you're different in those circumstances. You may be somebody that like doesn't like crowds. So that energy of like, you get closed off, you get guarded, you protect your energy. Like this person understands you know how to protect your energy, like physically protect your energy. And that is something that feels like they find to be very attractive, because they may have the same sort of aspect within themselves, kind of like, I'm good with like small groups or one-on-one. I don't like crowds. And so they are very attracted to that. If that is like what applies for you as well, then this is somebody that's like, great, okay, so in terms of like socializing or activities, we're on the same page in terms of what seems fun, what seems like a comfortable setting versus what doesn't. And in the times where we would be sort of forced to be in those uncomfortable settings, how to protect one's energy in order to sort of sustain time within those circumstances while we must. This energy here with this close encounters, again, it speaks with this butterfly in the cage, is the way in which you are very almost like reserved. Like you don't just give access to yourself to everyone. You may be somebody that is very like friendly, but you keep a lot of yourself to yourself. You could be almost like popular loner. Like people may know you on sight, they may know your name, they may like have heard rumors about you, or sort of like they think they know something, but like they don't know the real you. And this person has like seen little glimpses of who you are that is different from what others might assume based on the surface level. And they love the fact that it's not just kind of like you present as one thing and you're a different person, but you're the type of individual that it's like you've reached a point in your life, or maybe you were always this way, and you've just developed it with time of kind of like access to who I really am. That's a privilege. And I don't owe that to anybody unless they prove to me that they come in and they're not going to disrupt the peace that I've worked hard to create for myself. If they're going to contribute something, if there's reciprocity, cool. If they're just going to be a taker or disrupt things, then no, then that boundary is up and it cannot be crossed. And so this person finds that to be incredibly sexy, incredibly attractive, because it feels like this is somebody who's a private person. They want to have like a public relationship with you, something where it feels like people know that you're a couple, but this is also somebody that like values having aspects that are just kind of like for the two of you, sides of your personality, or again that experience of like your energy swallowing this person whole so they can be like born anew into this like different version of themselves. Maybe that they are only that version of themselves with you behind closed doors. And if ever there were a time where the two of you, went your separate ways, it's like they would not or could not be that version of themselves with anybody else, and they wouldn't try to. And there's something within that that very much like excites this person, that it feels very special. It feels very sacred. It feels very much like, yeah, you could be a couple that like people know that you're an item, you're together, but that the deeper layers of what that relationship looks like beyond what is perceived on the surface, that is something that is very exclusive. It is something that is only kind of known to the two of you. It's something that may even sort of develop and deepen with time, which it feels like really attracts this person. So let's get some messages from their higher self and see what they want you to know right now. Okay, we've got you are my muse, and we had that right here, muse inspiration. So you are definitely inspiring this person to take very conscious steps towards you, somebody that wants to really earn your trust. They want to earn access to the layers of you, but they know that is not something that can be accomplished through forcefulness or nonchalant or playing head games. That you see right through those things. That is not the correct password that kind of like gets them into this sort of inner sanctum within you. This is somebody that understands like they need to take time to learn what it is you allow them to see. They need to take the time in order to prove to you in an appropriate and dynamic way that they are somebody who is worthy of knowledge and access to, these different sort of rings within you that lead progressively towards this center within, where they know that the person that goes in will not be the same person that comes out. This is somebody that understands a romantic relationship, a long-term romantic relationship with you. It would likely change them, like it would change people. And so this is somebody that is like very inspired to go through that process, taking away armor and toxicity and like vibes and experiences internally and externally that in some kind of way would cause you to reflexively keep that guard up. keep them on the outskirts of accessing you. This is somebody that understands it's like not just standing there until you're like, okay, I yield, you can come in. But it's like they need to sort of shape themselves in a process of being kind of taken into this connection with you. And this is somebody that's very inspired to do that because they really feel, without even knowing what the full experiences would be, that it would be worth it with you. We also have I dream of you often. So yeah, this person is definitely having like spicy thoughts, spicy fantasies. You may be feeling a lot of like sexual energy, kundalini energy coming to you from them. And this is because you are the central focus of their sort of naughty time, their, you know, their adult fantasies. This is definitely somebody that is not just dreaming of kind of like all the amazing things you'll do in the deep soul connection. They really find you sexy and attractive. This essence of like the deeper sort of shadowy, kind of like the darker, deeper divine feminine energy within you, how you carry that out in different sorts of ways, it appeals to this person on a deep level. And so this is somebody that it feels like they can't help but be sort of like drawn to you as the focal point of those fantasies. We also have I was afraid of what others might think. So your intensity, or maybe even like differences between the two of you, age difference, cultural difference, the fact that you're very different from other people that they've had the opportunity to have relationship with, the types of people, other people they know are in relationships with, that is something that it feels like was very intimidating to this person at first. It was a trigger, it was a boundary, it was a piece of armor that they needed to kind of like take a step back, figure out that that existed within, and to dislodge that from themselves. And if they've been in that process of they've kind of retreated or they've been still, they recoiled, don't mistake this for somebody that is just kind of like, oh, they've dropped off the radar and that's it. This is somebody that is working through that kind of insecurity, that perception of what others would think, or, you know, a part of themselves that might even be resistant to that process of kind of like being changed by a love connection, being rendered into that kind of like divine masculine essence within, when they probably hadn't been thinking in terms like that before. And a lot of people are not thinking in those terms right now either, but it's just, it's a vibration. It's an embodiment. It's a frequency that they see that that's possible. But the reality of where they are and what it takes to get to that place where they can maintain time within that frequency, they can meet you on that level and sustain contact, have succinct experiences with one another. That's the process of this person earning a place closer into your reality. So this is somebody that if you're in kind of like a stillness right now, it's kind of quiet, they're sort of like low effort, or maybe it's like no contact. This is somebody that is working behind the scenes in order to kind of like get themselves out of that place of feeling very stuck, because they don't want you to be like the one that got away. They don't want you to be somebody that they're like haunted by. Like if I'd only been braver, if I'd only not cared what others had thought, if I had followed that magnetic pull towards you, what would happen? Like they don't want to sit with those lingering questions. So this is somebody that's trying to kind of like rise to the occasion to meet you on that higher level. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. P, N, C, O, L, T, Q, E, G, P, K, and H. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.